Hi, I'm Dennis Phillips, and welcome to Everyday Reloading and Shooting. All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. I have loaded up 40 rounds plus 4 fouling shots of IMR3031 powder at 21 grains with Hornady's 73 grain ELD match bullets. I'll be shooting these through my new Tikka T3X with the Vortex Tactical 6-24x50 first focal plane scope. I have loaded 8 rounds each based on a different primer type. Normally I shoot 5-shot groups, but because of the limitation of the Tikka magazine, it's limited to 4 rounds. So rather than have to reload one more round after 4 shots, I'm just going to shoot 4-shot groups. It'll track a little differently, but a lot of folks shoot 3-shot groups. I prefer a 5-shot group, but I'm going to be getting some extended magazines for this rifle, and I'll be going back to 5-shot groups. But these are all loaded the same bullet, the same powder, the same charge weight, except I'll be shooting 2 4-shot groups with Federal Gold Medal match primers, 2 4-shot groups with Federal Gold Medal AR primers, 2 4-shot groups with CCI 400, 2 4-shot groups with CCI 450, that's a Magnum primer, and 2 4-shot groups of MagTech. And we will see how these primers stack up against each other. And we'll also see how the new Tikka shoots as well. So looking forward to it. All right, welcome back to the Georgia Gun Club and their 100-yard indoor rifle range. Today we're shooting a Tikka T3X with a Vortex Tactical 6-24x50 first focal plane rifle scope. We'll be shooting at 100 yards, and today I'm testing 5 different rifle primers. We'll be shooting a Hornady 73 grain ELD match bullet with 21 grains of IMR3031 powder, which has proven to be a good load for me in the past. I think it will perform well in this rifle also, but we're going to find out. But we'll be testing 5 different rifle primers. We'll be shooting 2 4-shot groups each of Federal Gold Medal match primers, Federal Gold Medal AR primers, CCI 400 and CCI 450 Magnum primers, and MagTech. As always, you're welcome to enjoy the music while I fast forward through my shooting, or you can skip forward to the results at the end. Again, shooting at 100 yards. And I will shoot 4 barrel fouling shots to begin with. All right, these all shot fairly well, I think, so let's bring them in and see how we did. Alright, so this was my fouling group. I shot 4 shots, after which I adjusted it 1 click to the right and 1 click down. This was my center of my group, so I would have expected to bring that down to my point of aim, which was pretty close because the bottom of this circle is my point of aim. And I'm shooting 4 shot groups. That looks like about an inch. Definitely under an inch, definitely under an inch. Just over an inch. Shooting low and wide. That one's kind of scattered. These are the CCI 400. About an inch there. A little better with the 450s. Kind of tight there. Very tight here with the MagTech. And then it kind of opens up a little bit. But we will take these home, measure them, analyze them, and give you the results. So here are my results from the range today. We're shooting 73 grain ELD match bullets with 21 grains of IMR3031 powder, and we're testing 5 different primers: Federal Gold Medal Match, Federal Gold Medal AR, CCI 400, CCI 450 Magnum, and MagTech primers. So let's take a look at the results here. I really expected the Federal Gold Medal Match to be the best performer, and they did perform well. In fact, most of these grouped pretty well. The odd thing is that on every one of these, pretty much, I had a group that was just over an inch and a group under an inch. Group just under an inch, group just over an inch. Group over an inch, under an inch. Over an inch, under an inch. And MagTech was the first group that we had where both were under an inch. So let's just go take a look at each one of these individually. Normally I shoot 5 shot groups, but because of this Tikka T3X rifle and the magazine, it only holds 4 shots. So instead of my usual 5 shot groups, I'm shooting 4 shot groups, and I'm also measuring the best 3 out of 4. It's not quite the same as measuring the best 4 out of 5, because the best 4 out of 5 gives you a little better idea of the cluster and the grouping. But so anyway, here with the Federal Gold Medal Match, we had an extreme spread of 103 and 0.69. And then if you look at the best 3 out of 4, we're at 0.85 and 0.38. And another thing I look at is the vertical spread. This VS in pencil here is vertical spread. That's the distance between the center of the top bullet and the center of the bottom bullet. And in this case, it was very flat. This was the flattest shooting round that I had, with a vertical spread of 0.44 and 0.24. And then when you average these together, we have a group average of 0.86 and the best 3 out of 4 at 0.62. And of course, I average those two numbers together, and that gives me a score. So Federal Gold Medal Match had a score of 0.74. We come down to the Federal Gold Medal AR primers, and we had a group of 0.72 and a group of 0.115 on the extreme spread. And then we had a best 4 out of 5 at 0.35 and 0.56. The vertical spread on these was 0.64 and 111, so at 0.88, that was the highest vertical spread that we had of any of the rounds. And then on the group average for those two targets, we had an average extreme spread of 0.94 and a best 4 out of 5 at 0.46. Coming down to the CCI 400, this was one of our larger groups of the day at 1.17 inches and 0.86 inches. And then the best 3 out of 4 were at 0.88 and 0.70. And here we had a vertical spread of 0.59 and 0.58, so that averages 0.59. Our extreme spread averaged 1.02 for the two targets, and our best 3 out of 4 averaged 0.79. We come on down to the CCI 450. Our first group had an extreme spread of 105, and the second group had an extreme spread of 0.80. And then for the best 3 out of 4, we averaged 0.3 and 0.31. And that gave us a score of 0.93 on the extreme spread for those two groups and 0.42 for the best 3 out of 4, and that's a score of 68. Then we come to MagTech, and this was our best group of the day at 0.61 inches with the best 3 out of 4 at 0.30. And that was also our best 3 out of 4, so by far that was our best group of the day. But on the second target, things spread out a little bit. We had an extreme spread of 0.99, and that's because of this flyer here. And if I remember correctly, I believe that was my last shot, and I remember having a bad trigger pull on that shot. So otherwise, that might have grouped a little better. But when you average those two targets together, you have an extreme spread of 0.80 and a best 3 out of 4 at 0.46, and that gives you a score of 63. So MagTech was our best performing primer of the day. It had the lowest extreme spread of 0.80 average, and it had a 0.46 best 3 out of 4, which gives you a score of 63. And that was better than all the others. The CCI 450 had a score of 68. CCI 400 had a score of 91. Federal Gold Medal AR had a score of 70. And the Federal Gold Medal Match had a score of 74. So if I had to pick one of these as being the best performer, it's either going to have to be between the Federal Gold Medal Match and the MagTech. Even though some of these other numbers show otherwise, Federal Gold Medal Match had a score of 74. The Federal Gold Medal AR was a little bit better, but they had a best 3 out of 4, which helped bring that score down. And then CCI 450 had a score of 68. But MagTech was the best performing with a score of 63. So I'm going to have to give them an edge here. And then also the Federal Gold Medal Match, because the vertical spread was only 0.34 on that. So that was very consistent as far as its vertical spread. So in any event, I'm going to probably run a test and compare just the Federal Gold Medal Match and the MagTech, just compare those two primers among themselves and run a test between those two to see of those two, which of those actually perform better, and shoot 5 groups of each of those and compare. Someone from one of my reloading groups on Facebook modified my photo. He says that the CCI 450 primers perform the best. He could have a point. All right, so those are my results today. If you have thoughts or comments or ideas or something you would like to see, please leave that below. And as always, thank you for watching.